Hi, this is Dr. Donald Pelto. I just want to go over with you the actual process that I use for putting up my different types of blog posts, and as well my iTunes account, just to teach you how you can do it, and for those that are assisting me to do it for me in the future. So let me just show you this whole process. Easily enough, there's a few websites that I use that I want to start out with. So I'll open up my web browser, and what I usually do is I use Chrome because I can open up multiple sites. So the first website I'm going to open up is my blog, okay? And I'm actually going to sign out of everything just so you can see how to do everything from the beginning. So it's drpelto.com, okay? That's one of the blogs. The other one is called Heal My Foot Wound Fast. That's another one of the blogs. Okay. And I can actually see here this blog post was a little bit not done correctly, so we can fix that. Okay. The next one that'll have to be opened up is Libsyn. That's the podcasting. And then the next one that'll be opened is my regular Gmail account. And you're not going to have access to this account, okay? And I just want to show you the whole process. So what I tend to do is I'll tend to email you the information that I get from Lynn Dahlback, okay? This is just the person that I use for transcription, okay? This is the invoice, okay? And this is the most recent one, okay? So I send her these in my Dropbox, and she sends me the answer right here, and I'll be forwarding these on to you, okay? So what I would do is I would first, you can either view these or download these. If you view them, it goes to a driver, okay? Okay, so here you can see, here's the list of the documents. And when I dictate them, I actually dictate them with the title of the blog right here, and then the blog part that she's writing up for me. Okay, so I usually work with two screens. So what I'll do is I'll drag this over to my second screen, and so that you won't see it, but you'll see the copying and pasting of this information. Then I get back, so I don't really need that opened up anymore to my Gmail account. What I'm going to first start is the easiest one and most important one is to do my drpelto.com. So when I click sign in, it automatically signs in, but I will give you access to your code for you to sign in. What I hit now, you can either create posts, go to post list, or view the blog. Since you're going to be editing the post list, you want to go to the posts. And I put a lot of different drafts in here. So all you do is you go down to the draft. So what I tend to do is I tend to start a blog by putting the topic in there and maybe a picture, and then I dictate what will go in the blog. Okay? So the first one that I have here on my list was lateral foot pain with heel pain. Here it is. So I actually use the search button. Helps me to find it quicker. Lateral foot pain with heel pain. I would hit edit. Lateral foot pain with heel pain. So I tend to like to switch these to a little bit easier and correct my spelling. Okay. So lateral, you can put lateral up there, or sometimes I'll put like outside, just something to make it easier so people understand. Outside foot pain with heel pain. Okay, kind of a topic that I see a lot of patients that come in, and then what I'll do is I'll come down here and I'll copy it over on this other sheet. Let me just show you how to do this. So I'll just take that portion and I'll copy it, Control C, and I'll come down here. Now the one thing I notice is when it dictates, when she dictates it, it tends to get garbled like this. So I'm going to go do Control Z, and I'm actually going to download the original one in a Word document, which you can do as well. So lateral foot pain with heel pain. Let's see if this one works better. There it is. So that tends to work a little bit better. Okay? We talk about heel pain, plantar fasciitis, but then over time they develop some type of pain on the outside or lateral side of their foot. Okay? So this is what I talk about. But it's very important for me to have a couple of things in the blogs. So I hit enter, and I'm going to go find a picture now. I go to Google, lateral foot pain with heel pain. Just put in that topic and you should find some good images. Click images. So here looks like an image on the outside of the foot. This one will probably work. Take this image. You can just copy it. Or another thing you can do is you can just do say copy image URL. Go back here. Hit the image thingy from URL and add selected. Okay? Another way that's easy to do it, which I like doing now, is I use this program. You can't see it down here, but it's called Clipper Snipping Tool. Okay, I click that, hit New, do a little outline on the box, hit Copy, and then Control V. Usually it pastes, but if it doesn't, you can do the clipper thing again. You hit save, and you save it in your pictures. Like something like we're talking about. File name was called lateral, and we'll save it as that. Pictures. Okay, and then I go back here, and I'll hit picture, upload, choose files from my pictures, and I do this lateral thing and it should pop it up. The nice thing about doing it that way is that it creates a new image that's yours. Okay, so you're not really infringing on anyone else's copywriting. Okay, so I'll remove the other one. So that has an image. So the first thing, you need to have an image. Okay, this is important so Google can find it, so it can be helpful for you. That's the first thing. The next thing you have to do is schedule it. Okay, so I have a lot of my blogs scheduled. So what I'll do is I tend to save it. Okay, I go back to my posts, and I look at all my drafts, and then I see if there's any of them that are scheduled. At this point, I think I've gotten through all the scheduled ones, so we can start doing it from today actually. So what I'll do is I hit the schedule, set date and time, and then what I like to do, let's say I'll do it today. I usually like to do it, you know, because people will read it tend to be first thing in the morning, so maybe I'll put 9 a.m. or something like that. So I tend to do them, I tend to send them, I don't like to send them like at 1 in the morning. And then I'll do that today. And then what you can do as you're doing the other blogs, you just take it, and instead of June 4th, you may want to do it every other day, just 6th, the 8th, the 10th, because there's going to be so many of them. So just set them so they're not coming up all at the same time, so I can have constant flow of information. And then the next important thing is to do a label. A few of the mainstay labels that I like to have are Dr. Donald Pelto, Central Mass Podiatry, the actual blog location, okay, and then I like to do Worcester Podiatrist. So those are the main 4, and then what I would ask you to do is to kind of look in the blog post, and you can see if there's any other ones. So this one talks about heel pain, choose that. Another is called plantar fasciitis, you can choose that. So that should be enough. In terms of, we have the schedule, we don't really need to use the links button, and the location button, I usually do Worcester, Mass. Okay, so I put where we're at so people can find it. I allow comments, all this other stuff, you don't have to worry about that. So that's how you do the post. Pretty self-explanatory. If there's a video here, if I make a YouTube video, you want to put the video up there, but you also want to put an image, because when you're posting it, it only sees the images and it doesn't see the YouTube video. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'll hit publish, and that one actually goes into the scheduled phase. Okay? I want to show you here another one, an example with an actual image on it. Here's one, what does arthritis look like? And here are a couple of pictures that I took, and there's the images there. So pretty much the blog that goes with this one will already have the images in there. So you don't need to add anything. These are the images that I tend to put on there. Okay? I usually put the image first, and then I put the text to make it easier. So I can go back. If you don't want to do it, you can just hit save and then close. Okay, so that's how you do generally the update the blog. When you're done updating it, you have your Word document, and you can just either delete them or you can, get rid of them somehow. Okay. Now down on the bottom, there's also some other stuff that I put on here. You talk about heel pain, and then I eventually start talking about wounds. And I tend to put wounds on a different blog, mainly because of the pictures. The pictures are much more graphic. Okay? And I don't like to put those graphic pictures on there. Okay? So this one is probably starting about the wounds. The ulcer on the tip of the toe with bone changes and infection. That would sound like a wound log. So let's go, and now we can close out of this blog, and I'm going to open up this other blog. Okay, once again, I'll give you the login content, but you go to healmyfootwoundfast.com/admin. That's how you get to the administration part of it. Okay, and then once you're there, I will give you your list of logins. I use RoboForm, it's called. It remembers all my logins, and it works very, very well. For this one, you go to Posts, and you try to find, see, these are all the ones that are uncategorized, and I just put images and I start them, and they're not really posts. Okay? What I want is the drafts. So you have the published ones, drafts, and trash. So you hit the drafts, and then ulcer to the tip of the toe with bone changes and infection, right? That's the one you have here. A lot of these are going to have images. Hit edit. It's very similar to the last one. The reason this comes up all kind of weird is because I actually put an image in there. So if you go from text, you can go to visual, and you can actually see the pictures that I put on there. Okay? Underneath the pictures, hit enter. Take this one, Control C to copy, and then underneath here I'm going to put that information. Now I tend to like to put it in the text mode so it gets perfect formatting. And then I go back to visual mode, and it actually has it right there. Okay, so here's a picture of a story, information. I tend to I would like you to kind of read it and take a look at it. I'd like to tell you start a patient in Worcester. Okay. Bone changes called osteomyelitis or bone infection. Okay. Okay, then I put this, I kind of specify it, so you can add a little paragraph change. The reason the sore will not heal is for these 4 reasons. Okay. Infection called osteomyelitis. Okay. So that's that. Okay. So that's how you do that one. You don't really need to add images because I put the images here already. The main thing over this one, it's a little bit different. Over on the side, okay, you can edit when it's published. This is where you hit the edit button and you can choose the day. Okay. You can do, let's say, May 5th. That would be tomorrow at 9:00 a.m. Hit OK. Then you're going to do of the format is usually a standard one, or I think it's a standard. We'll see it. We're going to test it in a second. And then categories. I have audio. Those are for my podcast, blogs. Episodes are for the podcasts, and then I can have videos. So in case people want to look at it that way, it's not an audio, but it's a blog. Okay. Now for this. For the tags here, I have a lot of different tags here. Okay. There's a lot of steps to wound healing I like to talk about. You can see step 1, there's step 2 in here, step 3, step 4. That's kind of interesting, but the main ones I like to have on here are, once again, drpelto.com. Right? You separate them with that, Dr. Donald Pelto. Right? And then this website that you're working on, Heal My Foot Wound Fast, comma, and then I usually go into the different types of steps and see which one it is. So step 1 is blood sugar nutrition. That's not really talking about this. Step 2 is blood flow and swelling. That's not it. Then you can see all the steps. So all the steps will start to open up here. So the one that I'm talking about, because it's talking about osteomyelitis, you could either do step 4, which is bone. You can also talk about wound debridement and surgery. Okay, so I would tend to do the bone one, and you hit step right here, and then you can do the other step that talks about, there it is, wound debridement and surgery. Okay, because that's what we're talking about here, the need that she's going to have for surgery in this one. So this one's a little bit more complicated. You're going to have to look at the tags. I have the image there. In case it's a podcast, I just quickly want to show you how to do the podcast aspect. Let's say this was a podcast. Okay, you're going to go to Libsyn, hit login. Okay. And then you're going to get the podcasts that are up here, okay? And the podcast, it says previous posts. These are all my posts, okay? What you find here is you get the different link. You have the direct download URL or the permalink, okay? But pretty much you just need one of these that says MP3 at the end, okay? You take the one with MP3 at the end, see the MP3, copy it. So whatever one you're working on, they'll have the same numbers, the names as the blog posts, okay? And then you'll go back to this one, and you put it right in here, and you hit verify, and it actually pulls it from the aspect, and it'll actually publish it with that time and everything in there. And that would have a different introduction. It would have the blog's name, the title. It would have this audio little link in there. And it would have something written in an image as well. So you need to put an image in for that. So just let me show you what this will look like. So ulcer to the tip of the toe with bone changes and infection. Little story right here, and this would be the actual podcast, and it has the different types of blog posts down here. Okay, but for this one, we're actually not doing that because this isn't related to this blog post. But I wanted to show you because a lot of times I'll refer over to a podcast for you. Okay, so let me just remove this here. Okay, so for this one, this is already done, and I can hit publish because we changed the date. And it'll publish on that time. I just wanted to go back here and show you, I think I show you what this one will look like, but you can preview this one. This is what this other blog will look like, and it's good to look at these blogs to see what it'll look like, to make sure it'll look fine. Okay. The reason is I did a blog post recently. I think it was on this one here, right? If you look at it, here's a little image bar, but if you preview it, it looked kind of scrambled. Or one of the other ones I was looking at, it looked kind of scrambled on it. So we have to be careful and make sure it looks like something that people can use. Okay, so that explains how to do the blogs, both from the Blogger, which is my Dr. Pelto site, and also Heal My Foot Wound Fast. I just want to end here. The last thing that would really help is when I put new posts in here. A lot of times new posts, when I upload them, I have someone that actually, I email them the MP3 from my phone, they put the intro and conclusion on it, then they upload it up here. And when it comes in, it's going to come in right here on the previous posts, and it'll actually won't come in as a podcast. Okay, when it comes in, it'll actually come in as a text post or a file for download only, because it's not going to publish it. And then what you do is you click this little area right here. It'll show previous posts. Okay, that's the best way to do it. You find out which ones aren't published yet. These are already published, right? But you find the ones that aren't published, they'll be up here. They'll be just sitting here waiting. And all you have to do is hit edit. Okay, and you put a title in there. I'll usually for these ones, someone will already put the title in there. Okay, I will probably either have you just copy and paste the old one like this, or I'll even dictate something and I'll mention to you that it's a podcast. Okay, here's a discussion of a little bit about wounds to the back of the Achilles. These can be quite difficult to heal. If you found this helpful and would like to learn more, visit Heal My Foot Wound Fast for the free 10-week course. The key is for these is that you want to tell them what's wrong, the Achilles tendon. Okay, what's on the podcast. You can even listen to it if you like. And then the key that's really important to put on each one of these is, if you found this helpful and like to learn more, please visit that website. Okay, in whatever you're offering. For these, there are different categories. I usually just use the normal general category. I haven't gotten too advanced with these. You can also, if you're doing multiple blogs, you can set these to release like 1 week at a time, and you can put different tags. These actually come with my tags already in there for all these. Okay, I think for this one I put a subtitle. You don't really have to, but this is actually what, when you publish this goes to my iTunes account. Okay, so let me show you where that's at. Okay, so if you go to Heal My Foot Wound Fast and you view the site, and you go to iTunes, click the iTunes, it actually shows you here wounds to the back of the Achilles. Okay, so people can download this and they can listen to this in iTunes. So it says view in iTunes. Okay, Heal My Foot Wound Fast. Okay, and it's asking you actually to download iTunes. But this is where the iTunes is, and you can view it in iTunes, the podcast website. Okay, if you go to the podcast website, it'll actually go to this website where they can watch it. And actually, this is the one that was bad. Okay, for some reason this one didn't show up. Okay, about the Achilles tendon. So for some reason it showed up in my blog, but it didn't show up here. So what I would do with this one is I would actually edit this one, and for some reason it didn't show up that actual Achilles thing. So what I have here is an embedded coder here. This is on the previous post. When I hit post, and I can copy and paste this one. Usually this one works, but for some reason, let's try it again here. Maybe I didn't copy the whole thing. So you just copy this. Okay, when you're actually posting the information into the blog afterwards, you can either put the audio in the bottom, okay, with the MP3, or you can do this thingy. If you want to do the audio, you just take this MP3 code and you go back to edit the post, and you put this one in here, you hit verify, and then you actually don't need the player. Then you can just remove the player from it. So that's got the audio in there. Once again, this is a podcast, okay, and then I'll make it audio, and I'll do episode, and I'll do Heal my foot wound fast. Right? Up to Dr. Pelto. Heal my foot wound fast. Central Mass. Donald Pelto. And then the next thing with the steps. This is the important one. So I'm talking about, for this one, is like a wound on the back of the heel. So you could even do a skin and wound evaluation, and then wound debridement and surgery. So skin and wound evaluation. And for this one, I'm actually talking about offloading. That's a key point with this one, if you listen to the podcast. Okay, so what I did for this, it actually automatically posted here. I forgot, when I post them to Libsyn, they actually post them automatically here, but it's not showing up the right way. So we'll have to go in here and just evaluate them. And if you see that the audio isn't working, you can just update it. And so you just hit update. Okay. And then I'll view the post here. And there's the play button. Here's something. And they can learn more right here. Okay? So this is, if you hit play, it'll actually play the podcast there. So they can play it or they can download it right here. Okay? So that kind of explains a lot of different stuff, kind of overwhelming, but I hope you found it helpful.